Welcome back to another episode of the CNT podcast. I'm Justin Yomot, and this week I have Chris Clarke.
How we doing?
Chris is the number 17 prospect in the Chicago Cubs organization, and I'll be interviewing him today. Thank you for coming on. It means a lot to me.
Yeah, no problem, man. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on. So my first question is, what is your biggest motivation?
My biggest motivation, personally, I'm a pretty big family man, so I'd say my biggest motivation has to be my parents. I feel like they've given me so much guidance in life, especially going through Tommy John at such a young age, and having them throughout a lot of moves in the southern part of the country. I definitely feel like they've been there for me, and I've been there for them. So if I had to say my biggest motivation, my answer will always be my parents.
Yeah, that's very cool. My parents are one of my biggest motivations as well.
Nice. I like that. Always thank your parents, Justin. They go out of their way every day for you.
Yep. So what was it like to be drafted?
Oh, I mean, I can tell you it was awesome. I can tell you it was the greatest day of my life. You know, I could tell you that I was happy to have all my friends around me when it happened. But the truth is, bro, I blacked out. I mean, that was the most stressful day. And I think most people that were in that situation would say the same, that you don't know what's going to happen. It could be really great. It could be really poor. You could get paid a lot of money in a really good pick. You get paid not very much money in a really bad pick. So, and the other way around. So there was really nothing much other than going through my head that I need to get picked today. So when it finally happened, I just felt like there was a weight lifted off my shoulders. So much so that if people ask me about memories in that day, I just tell them, like, I don't really remember what happened.
Yeah, that's very cool. I mean, I usually get the answers like it was super cool, it was like the greatest day of my life, but I've always like wondered, wouldn't it have been stressful? And so it's really cool to see like that side from a player.
Oh yeah, it's stressful. Are you kidding me, man? It's the day when you got your phone ringing, but none of them are actually calls to get picked, and you're like, can someone just tell me what it is? Mm-hmm. But you don't know. You just gotta hope that somebody out there likes you.
Yep. So, who was your favorite team or player growing up?
My favorite team growing up, I'm gonna have to say the Dodgers, because I'm an LA boy. Grew up, SoCal, born and raised. Currently live in Florida now, so I wouldn't say the Dodgers are my favorite team. But my favorite player was always Jose Fernandez. I would sometimes like put my phone out in class and like watch him like live stream, watch him strike out like 14 guys in like 6 innings. And I mean, the day that he died, I had people texting me and calling me like, "Are you okay?" And I really wasn't, because I was like that was the guy that I watched to watch baseball. Mm-hmm. That was my end. So when he was gone, I feel like baseball in general kind of took a step backwards, but it's back now. It's all good. If I did have to say who I really like watching a lot now, I'd probably say Scherzer. Not really because of his stuff. I actually don't think his stuff is, too great besides his changeup. I'd say his slider's pretty solid too, but the dude just competes. He just gets after it. Like, he's not afraid to be letting some expletives off the chain while he's screaming into his glove before every pitch. And it's guys like that I really like to play with, because I know that they'll do whatever it takes to win.
Yeah. That's very cool. If you could tell your 10-year-old self something, what would it be?
10-year-old self. It's going to be all right, kid. Oh, and there's a pandemic in 2020. So get some toilet paper. No. But for real, I'd probably tell myself everything's going to work out. You just got to stay patient. I mean, everything in its life it needs its own time to like work itself out, I feel like. So if it's the end and shit's still not going right, well, then it's not the end, is it? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's very cool. So to kind of follow up something like that. Who was your hero when you were 10 and who is your hero now?
Oh, who's my hero when I was 10? I would say my hero now would probably be the same hero when I was 10 because I'm gonna say two heroes. That's okay. I'm gonna say my brothers because when we were 10 years old, all we would do was go out to the field, hit ground balls. I was a pitcher, so I was on fungo immediately. You know, they'd be taking ground balls. I'd be throwing BP. Like 10 years old, we go out there and we kind of just like mess around on a baseball field, right? Well, now one of those brothers has an economics degree from Claremont McKenna. The other one is working for an infrastructure company, and they don't play baseball anymore. So it's tough that we're not allowed to go out, but I'm still playing. And the reason why they're my heroes, Justin, is because every time I go home, they fight through all the elbow, all the shoulder, all the back pain, just so that they can throw with me and work out with me to keep me on my grind. So my brothers are my heroes.
That's very cool. I have a pretty great relationship with my brother too, and he's one of my heroes as well.
Nice. What's his name, man?
Jacob.
Jacob and Justin. J&J. I like that.
Yeah. The next question is, how has COVID affected you as a player?
As a player, I actually feel like I've gotten better as a player, to be honest. Not necessarily skill-wise, because it's difficult to, relate how I've been working to a situation called baseball when there haven't been games that are played. But feel-wise and, mentally, I feel like I've had a better understanding for where I'm at now than I definitely had last year, the year before that. And I feel because of that, this past year has actually been taken advantage of rather than just tossed aside. I feel like most players probably have done. I mean, there's definitely a gap nowadays between the guys that put the work in this whole pandemic and are better than they were 8 months ago, and the guys that said, screw it, I'll just wait till it ends. Nobody knows when it ends. So now they're way far behind, and it's like that intermediate baseball player is sort of shrinking that market because you've got guys that are getting really good and guys that are getting really bad, and there's not that much in the middle right now. Mm-hmm. It's all because of this pandemic, man.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. And, I follow a lot of athletes because my passion is to be a broadcaster. And so most of them I see are posting stuff like they're still walking and, working out and continuing to grind.
Nice. Yeah. Are you taking online classes, by the way?
I am.
Okay. So for you, does it work as though you can go online and you can show up in person, or is it strictly online?
It's all online.
Okay. It's weird that some parts of the country have it where it's okay, you can show up in person on Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, but you got to be online for the other 4 days of the week. I don't get it. But,
oh no, I'm online for Monday through Fridays.
Alright, I dig it. And is that from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m.?
For me it's from 8. It's from 8 a.m. to 11:30.
Okay, that's not too bad.
No.
I dig it.
Mhm.
All right.
So, what is your biggest fear?
Snakes, man. I'm like Indiana Jones. Don't get a snake near me. I'll punt that thing. Actually, I'll probably scream like a little girl and run away if I'm honest. But I do not like the fact that they don't have legs and can move around.
Yeah.
That's not supposed to be possible.
Yeah, but the snakes can be pretty scary.
Yeah, not a fan. I'm okay with spiders, though. Spiders are alright.
I don't really like the spiders.
Really? They're so small, though.
They got 8 legs.
Yeah, they got 8 legs. But, you step on them, then they got 7. Then you do it again, then they got 6.
I don't know.
It's not like a snake. It's not like a snake where you look down and the thing's just curling up around your leg, and you're like, oh, well, what do I do now?
I guess that's kind of true.
I said, hey, that's my opinion. You can have yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What pitches do you throw?
So I'd say my main pitches would probably be my two-seam and my curveball. I would say that's probably right around the central vein of my pitching system. But to complement those, I've got a cutter, a four-seam as well, and a changeup. So 5 pitches in total. I'd say 2 of them are pretty good. Say we're working on the others.
I mean, I really like cutters. When I'm playing MLB The Show, I always go with the cutter. It's one of my favorite pitches, personally.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the cutter's one of those pitches where if you're in a fastball count and you just don't want to throw a fastball, it's a cutter. It still counts as a fastball. It just moves a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can throw that in the right count, especially after the correct previous pitch, I think as any pitcher, any age, definitely not 13 or younger though, because you shouldn't be throwing cutters. I think that's an effective pitch to where, it'll get guys out a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I fully agree. It's probably my favorite pitch.
Yeah, I think it.
Did you play any other sports as a kid?
I mean, yeah, I played soccer because I'm from California, so that's like just what you do. When I was younger, played a little bit of basketball. And I know I'm 6'7", and I know I'm tall, but dude, I suck. I'm terrible at basketball. I can't dribble, and I sure as hell can't shoot. But I'm pretty good at defense, so if you ever catch me in a pick-me-up game, just know that when I get the ball, I am going to pass it away if you're on my team. Like, that's guaranteed. I'm not shooting it. I'm not about that. Ever.
Yeah.
Not even a layup.
Yeah, well, sometimes a good passer means everything in pick-up games.
Yeah. Just, what was that dude's name that used to play with Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen? No, the crazy one with the hair. Yeah, just think of me as Dennis Rodman. I'm your rebound / here's the ball kind of guy.
Yeah, I mean, Rodman is a great player.
Yeah.
Really fun to watch, too.
Pink hair, too. Can't complain.
Mm-hmm. So my last question is, what was your first thought when you signed your first contract with the Cubs?
Oh, I was actually talking about this the other day, which is funny. So my first thought when I signed was just sort of like excitement. I never really had thoughts and stuff like that until I showed up, until I got moved and activated onto a roster where I could show up and play games. So we showed up. We flew in on July 3rd. July 4th was our home opener. Stands were packed. It was my first minor league game. Was July 4th. There were fireworks going off. We lost the lead within the first 5 minutes of the game. But we had this guy pitching named Junior Perez, and I swear to you, Justin, this guy didn't throw a pitch under 100 miles an hour until the second inning. And I was like, if this is what pro ball is, I got a lot of work to do. So that was my first thought. I was like, oh my gosh, everybody throws 100 here. What? But, I mean, it's more about the movement and the way that you siphon through your pitches. I mean, throwing hard, obviously, is going to help you. It leaves you more margin for error. But at the same time, your fastball is only as good as your secondary stuff. Or it doesn't even matter secondary stuff, just whatever's complementing it. There has to be some degree of differential to fool the hitter no matter when you throw it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I fully agree.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on my podcast. It really means a lot to me.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yep. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you next week.